to handle this kid in the hall on a solo mission. Here's Scott Thompson.
Merci, garçon. Bonsoir, Montreal. Here at last. I just love Montreal. And not just because of its bagels, or its civilized drinking hours, or even its hash. No, what I love most about Montreal is its men. Especially its fags. Montreal, you should stop talking proud about your hockey team and start boasting about your tapettes. For hundreds of years, Toronto faggots have flocked to Montreal to party. Let's face it, Toronto's got a big English cucumber up her ass. We could never throw a bash like this. Even our street parties take place indoors. Even now that it's poor, it's still pretentious. Canadians have always gone east to let their hair down. Even before the Europeans arrived, the Huron Indians of Ontario used to cross the border to play bingo with the Mohawks of Quebec. Canada has just always been more fun the further east you go. It's something to do with the magnetic plate. By the time you get to Newfoundland, everybody's crazy. I fell in love for my very, very first time in old Montreal. Jeez, it was so long ago. I must have been all of 12 years old. His name was Mario. He was an older boy, about 40. Now, please don't get all excited. I was a very well-developed 12. Technically, I wasn't a minor. I'd been having sex since I was 7. You see, I had a very accelerated childhood. My parents were international diamond thieves who traveled all over the world, especially North Africa, so I knew the score. One day, we were on our way from Vancouver to Nice, and we made a stopover at Montreal. At Dorval, I briefly left my parents to buy myself a fashion magazine. And when I returned, the plane was gone, and so were they. Just the smell of my mother's Chanel No. 5 hanging in the air. That's probably why I hate Catherine Deneuve so much. All I had with me was 37 cents and a big diamond ring worth about $2 million. I figured that would keep me going for about a month of the lifestyle I'd become accustomed to. There was only one solution. I had to find myself a sugar daddy, and fast. Then, conveniently, this very good-looking man who looked sort of like Omar Sharif came over and asked me if I'd ever done any nude modeling or posed for wrestling photos. I said, of course. I mean, what kid hasn't? This, of course, was Mario. He invited me back to his place to take some pictures for $5. I said he could take the pictures, he just couldn't develop them, in case I got famous. And I wanted $10. No use showing your whole hand right away. And that's how I started my modeling career. Mario, of course, like everybody else I've ever met, fell madly in love with me. And I immediately moved into his apartment, a charming fourth-floor walk-up in a working-class French neighborhood where everyone spoke in a rough and jaunty joual. I, however, spoke French with a refined Parisian accent I'd picked up in Algeria. Which made some people think I was a snob. Luckily, I was, so I didn't mind. I stayed with Mario for 6 months, which seemed like forever. But apparently, you know, when you're only 12 years old, 6 months is an awfully long time. That's 1/24 of your whole life. Now, at my age, 6 months is nothing. I take 6 months to return a phone call. Mario was the most immature man I'd ever met. Simple, really. maybe borderline retarded. Let's face it, I was the top. But nothing lasts forever, not even love, which is where the Mounties came in. At Mario's trial, though, I refused to testify against him, as did all the other boys in the neighborhood, and he was set free. I, however, was sentenced to 6 months hard labor in a boys' work camp for sexual misadventure. They managed to keep me locked up for about an hour before I escaped and made my way to Toronto by skidoo. But that's another story. I know some of you good citizens sitting there in your 3750 seats are shocked by my story of taboo love. But let's face it, people, if Mario had been Maria, you'd all be celebrating my life in television movies.
Sam! There's still over 100 of comedy's biggest names still to come. Don't miss it.